Hello everyone, Seraphin here, welcome back for more Fire Emblem Sacred Stones. When I last left you guys, we were in the middle of Chapter 17 on this very interestingly laid out river map with also mountains, because reasons. At any rate, we were very close to getting some promotions happening, and I think now is as good a time as any to continue that particular trend. First things first, however, we're going to have to deal with some schmucks over here, so let's get that out of the way. We'll move in our resident awesome sauce new Great Knight, Mr. Franz here. I think these wyverns might be more of a threat, if I'm being totally honest. Why don't we deal with them first? Well, Franz can't quite handle that one. Maybe this other one? That'll do. If he had an axe, he'd be fine, but I didn't bother to bring him one. I figured Steel Lance would be good enough, but apparently it's not the case against these wyvern guys. They're a little hardier than I was expecting. That's okay. That's why we brought Gilliam, the man, the myth, the legend himself, who is capable of barely dispatching this guy with his hand axe, so why don't we make use of that. From a safe distance, of course. Not that Gilliam needs it, he's plenty tanky, so it's just fun to watch him whip this axe around. I really have a hard time deciding which is my preferred weapon on generals of Gilliam's caliber. I don't know, like, I mean, they're all good. It's really fun to watch him swing a sword around, but that being said, it looks a little weird sometimes. I think I tend to prefer lances over everything else just because it looks the most appropriate. I know that may sound weird because, you know, why doesn't he have an appropriate quote-unquote weapon, but I don't know, that's just what I prefer. Anyway. Level up for Tethys, not bad. She's very fast, holy smokes. 19 luck is not too shabby either. She's gonna have a hard time getting hit with 63 avoid. And we'll have Franz move up and dispatch with this fellow instead. We'll switch to Sword, because that sounds like fun. Let's do that. Even though I think Great Knights look a little silly the way they hold their swords in that neutral stance there, just straight up. Does look really cool when they swing them, though, that's for dang sure. The overall sprite of the Great Knight looks amazing. It's just the animations are a little weird, in my opinion. I think that's the same thing with a lot of the alternate classes that this game added over the last Game Boy Advance Fire Emblem game, that being Blazing Sword. So, speaking of which, we're going to go ahead and promote Miss Namie here. We'll leave her in the forest, that's a good place for her. This is the only archer you get to promote in the entire game. So we have the option of the tried and true Sniper, who picked up a unique skill in this game called Sure Strike, which sounds cool, however all it does is guarantee a hit, and it triggers based off of your skill percentage, which, if you have high skill, you're generally not having an issue hitting things anyway, especially if you're a sniper. Like, their skill cap is so ridiculously huge, they don't really even need that skill. So it's a little bit redundant, and they only get bows. Meanwhile, we have the option of going with Ranger here, that gets swords as well as bows. They're on horseback, and it's not a traditional horseback either. They actually have a little bit easier time moving through forests than other mounted units like Cavaliers, Great Knights, Paladins. So, a little more nimble than a typical mounted unit. They don't get the Sure Strike deal, but their skill is plenty high enough to hit things, and they also have a higher speed cap than snipers, so we're going to be making Namie a Ranger, because that just seems like the better choice. I think they both have very similar promotion gains, but it's not really all that relevant. There we go, some much needed strength, and her defenses are not too shabby either. A little on the slow side, but hopefully that'll improve. Overall, I'm still happy with how she turned out, if I'm being totally honest. Like, that's a very well-rounded stat line for a level 1 Ranger. And she'll only grow stronger as time goes on, so let's leave her there. We need to deal with this other Cavalier. I don't think anyone in the party is capable of killing him. So we're just gonna have to block the way, I guess, a little bit. First and foremost, though, we're gonna send in La Rochelle to do some healing, I think. Because our resident Great Knight here is a little worse for wear, I should say. Let's get him nice and topped off there. And then we'll send in Mr. Molder the Boulder here. That is the best nickname ever, by the way. And we'll have him top off Gilliam. Now, I probably could send someone like the likes of Cormag over here to deal with that Cavalier. Or Cyrene, even. I mean, she's sitting right there. Cormag, that being said, is just a little too far away. That's a big bummer. If only I had a means of, like, shoving him or something, that would be ideal. Why don't we send Cyrene just to clean this guy up? I don't want to deal with him killing one of my vulnerable little healing people there. And then we'll put Rennick ahead a little further, just because we're going to want to get closer to that Berserker so we can steal his precious Draco Shield. Dragon Shield, whatever, you know what I meant. I keep saying Draco Shield because that's what it's actually referred to in some of the later installments. Speaking of promotion tier, I think Tana's ready to do that, so why don't we get her situated. And we'll just park her right here in this forest and get her promoted as well. So Tana has the option of becoming the classic Falco Knight, the one you know and love, just a better Pegasus Knight. They get swords as well as lances. Gonna be honest, I would have preferred if they'd gotten something like bows or even like the ability to use healing staves like they do in Awakening, but swords do not make a great deal of sense on them. They're already fragile as is. Why give them the weakest weapon type that they aren't going to be able to do a whole lot of damage with? So, I mean, they're incredibly fast and have very high resistance. So they're basically anti-magic harriers, which is really nice. But beyond that, their usefulness is a little limited in the long run. As opposed to that, we have the Wyvern Knight, which we've already seen. Walter was a Wyvern Knight. And as I've mentioned previously, this is the preferred promotion, in my opinion, for Pegasus Knights, simply because it gives them a lot more utility. They only retain lances, they don't get any weapon types, but they do get an amazing skill in Pierce. And Pierce is an ability that allows them to ignore the enemy's defense that they're targeting. And I believe the trigger percentage on that is something to the is like, I think it's either based on their skill or based on their speed, which is fantastic, because Wyvern Knights are a nice medium between a Falco Knight and a Wyvern Lord in terms of stats. They're in the middle in terms of strength, so they're stronger than Falco Knights, but not quite as strong as Wyvern Lords. Same with defense. They're a little slower, I think, than Falco Knights, or they're maybe even just as fast. I'm not sure. They have just as much skill. I know that for a fact. So there really is no reason not to pick these. So we're going to go ahead and make Tana a Wyvern Knight, because that'll be awesome. I should point out, there is a neat trick you can do in many Fire Emblem games, and this one is no exception. Usually is with the 3 Pegasus characters you get across the game. It's called the triangle attack. She got 4 constitution from promoting off that. That's fantastic. So what's the triangle attack? Well, that is when the 3... I'm going to say Pegasus Knights, but it's sometimes other characters. For example, in Binding Blade, there is 3 Armor Knights that can do it, believe it or not. But in this game, if you get Vanessa and Tana and Cyrene all together, and you have 2 of the 3 of them surround an enemy that you want to attack, so for example, have one on one side, one on another, and you have the third one move in next to them and initiate an attack on them, they will guarantee a critical hit with that third unit, because they'll perform what's called a triangle attack. And the fun thing about that is, normally you need 3 Pegasus Knights / Falco Knights to do it, and because I just made Tana a Wyvern Knight, that limits the ability to use the triangle attack somewhat. Doesn't negate it completely. If you have Vanessa and Cyrene surround the enemy and have Tana initiate the triangle attack as a Wyvern Knight, she can still initiate it that way, but it has to be her that does it. So from now on, the only one who can benefit really from the triangle attack is Tana. The other 2 cannot initiate it. If all 3 were Falco Knights, then any one of them could do it. And only one of them can be a Wyvern Knight. If I had made Vanessa and Tana Wyvern Knights, then I can no longer do the triangle attack. Just as a point of order, if anybody was planning on doing that in their own playthrough at some point, if you want to be able to use that, it's kind of gimmicky, honestly. You don't get a lot of opportunity to make very judicious use of it, but it is neat to have in a pinch. So, at any rate, I don't think anyone's going to be able to reach that Wyvern up there. I guess Cyrene could, but again, I'm lax to use her if I can avoid it. But I might not have a choice, because I don't want to have anybody getting wrecked unnecessarily. That being said, she can't even kill this thing with a silver lance, so that's a forest. So how about what I can do, potentially, how far away is Tethys here? A little too far away. If I put Nami right here next to this mountain, she can get close enough to do it, as long as I have someone else take care of the first one. So why don't I do that? We'll have Gilliam walk up and lance this guy in the face. I'm hoping to get my healers to a position where they can promote here very soon. Certainly in the case of La Rochelle, because having a Valkyrie is going to be incredible. That is going to make a lot of my life much easier. Having a mounted healer that can also use light magic? Yes, please. All of my yes, in fact. So we'll go ahead and dance for Nami here. Hopefully she can get into that forest. If she were a paladin, she wouldn't be able to, I don't believe. But because she's a ranger, she has an easier time navigating through forests. She can definitely one-shot that guy, but I think Iron Bow will be sufficient. And I needn't worry about her getting attacked by those cavaliers. Only one of them is going to be able to get next to her, and she can probably take at least one hit. So her HP's not looking too good, though. I might need to patch that up with my remaining Seraph robe that I still have. Speaking of, why don't we go ahead and patch up Cyrene here, since she got walloped a little bit in that last encounter she was in. I'll go ahead and park Franz up here, so he can deal with this other cavalier. With the steel lance. Yeah, that'll do. Everybody else is looking pretty good, HP-wise, so why don't we just have La Rochelle ride up and barrier someone. You can barrier Mulder, I guess. Sure, why not? Seems like he needs it. I don't know why his resistance is so bad. I don't remember it being that awful as far as the growth rate is concerned, but maybe I don't remember very properly sometimes. That is the case, actually. I forget things very easily, especially because it's been a little while since I played this particular game. Alright, so we could let Tana wreak some havoc on these druids, but rather than do that, we're going to let Ephraim go to town on them, I think. We're going to park him right here with a javelin and let these guys come to him. We'll keep Tana around, but... And then the Swordmaster, I think we can let Loot deal with. Actually, I can let Loot deal with these guys too, to be honest. But she doesn't need the experience as much as Ephraim is going to. Make sure they can't hit Cormag where he's sitting. Okay, we're good. Did I leave anybody down here? Nope, I did not. Okay, we're good. There actually, crap, there is a shop here, and there's something I could use from that shop. So I might need to run back there before the end of this chapter. There is one particular item that you can only buy on the on-screen vendor on this map, and you will never have the opportunity to buy anywhere else, even post-game. It's the only thing. I don't know why that is, but I've looked around and made sure, yep, it's the only item that you cannot buy anywhere else, except for on the map during this mission. That being said, it's not super duper critical that you buy it. It's not like a game changer or anything. It's just a normal magic item, but it's nice to have a couple spare just in case. I'll show you guys that when I get there. And here is Javelin Ephraim on a great lord horse. Not really all that impressive. I believe I've already complained about how I don't think mounted Ephraim's animations are very good. Mounted Erica looks amazing. Very well done animations. She looks very regal on that horse. Ephraim, however, I think is better served on foot. I think he looked a lot better, was more effective, honestly, as an infantry unit, but I guess you can't have everything you want. Alright, so we'll move in Gilliam to dispatch with that other remaining cavalier there. And also probably potentially deal with those wyverns as they come down here. And then as soon as the wyverns are cleared out, we can move in Rennick to swipe that dragon shield from the berserker. I don't want to move him in while those wyverns are in the sky because they have lances and they're big and bulky, and even though Rennick is fairly fast, he can get shredded pretty easily. Especially given his HP pool is not spectacular, nor is his defense. So, yeah, we're going to avoid that for as long as we can. And we'll move in Erica to dispatch with this other silly, what do you want to call this guy? Druid, there we go, that's his name. And because of the nerf for Luna between Blazing Sword and this one, it's now almost completely useless as a magic tome. Kind of sad, really. See how much better Erica looks on her horse? Like, holy smokes, not even a competition. Alright, so this Swordmaster, I think, will be dealt with very easily by Miss Tana here. We'll give her a Slim Lance still, why not? I mean, I'm probably going to upgrade that between chapters. She can certainly handle something a little bit more bulky now with her 9 con. I think she can use an Iron Lance without speed penalty now, which is nice, because that'll give her a little more punching power, instead of having to carry that silly thing around all the time. Alright, so we're going to go... Is anybody hurt, now that I'm thinking about it? Gilliam's got a touch hurt on him, I guess. We're going to go ahead and heal up Tethys real quick, just for grins here. And that will put La Rochelle at level 20. So you know what that means, everybody. She got defense. Fantastic. Her lowest stat is 11. That's pretty fantastic, I gotta say. So we're going to go ahead and dance for little Miss Princess La Rochelle here. And now it is time, everyone. It is time for my favorite character in this game to become a real woman. And by that, I of course mean she can start using offensive magic instead of just defensive and healing stuff. So we have the option of the Valkyrie or the Mage Knight. Now here's the funny thing about Valkyrie versus Mage Knight. Stat-wise, they are identical. As far as caps, as far as promotion gains, everything, they are exactly the same. The only difference between a Valkyrie and a Mage Knight is one uses anima magic, the other uses light magic. And also, one gets a really awesome looking hat, the other one looks really weird. So the choice for me is obvious. I choose to make La Rochelle a Valkyrie. It also makes sense from a role-playing perspective, if you ask me. She comes from a country that is very devout and very light and just sanctity-focused, so why not make her the light magic user on a horse? And I know some people are going to complain, well, Anima's better. And yeah, in the long run, ultimately it is, but I've already got loot for that. I don't really... And I mean, loot can use light magic too, but it's not really her niche. So I'd rather have somebody who can walk around and use some light magic in addition to healing stuff. So I also don't like the look of Mage Knights anyway. So there's that. At any rate, we're going to go ahead and make La Rochelle a Valkyrie, because I want to and I can, and you can't stop me. Feel free to make her whatever you want during your playthrough. This is just how I choose to do it. And I'm sure I'll catch flack from somebody, but you know what? I don't care. And there we go. Nice little 2-point bonus to... Well, 3-point bonus to resistance. Holy smokes. That's what not that she needs it, but... Alright, so now we have promoted La Rochelle. And this is a level 1 Valkyrie. Unfreaking believable. These stats are absolutely incredible across the board, and I need to get her some light magic actually out of the convoy as soon as I can manage that. But the fact that she's already over the cap for luck, that level 1, and is already just unbelievable. Just absolutely ridiculous. She will cap speed, luck, and resistance, no questions asked. It's not even a contest. She will cap those. Magic, very likely to cap that as well, and skills may be kind of iffy. The only one that she generally will not cap is defense, although she's already halfway there, which is impressive, I gotta say. She leveled up defense a lot more than I expected her to. So, very happy with how she turned out, and we're gonna go ahead and give Mulder some similar treatment here. Hopefully we can get him to a promotionable level here very soon. What is he at? 18? 17. Okay, he's got a little ways to go, but we're getting there, everybody. We're getting there. Those wyverns will waste themselves against Gilliam's armor. No big deal there. This silly swordmaster goes for Tana and realizes he's woefully inadequate. Wyvern Knights do have a really cool looking animation, I gotta say, too. The fact that they just kind of draw themselves back before dive bombing into somebody with a lance in their face. Very gratifying to watch. And here comes the man, the myth, the legend himself. I can't get over how awesome his armor looks, I'm sorry. I know I'm gushing a lot, and it's been more than several times since I first did that, but I just can't help it. If he was like navy blue, it would be the best. Like, kind of like Gatry from Path of Radiance. That's my ideal armor knight looking armor. Blue crested with gold, just looks awesome. And of course, Gatry is just absolutely loaded from head to toe with armor, so it just looks amazing. A little impractical, but who cares? This is a fantasy game. I'm allowed to enjoy the completely impractical fantasy-looking tropes. Alright, so I think it's time we moved in and snagged that dragon shield, which Rennick's a little too far out of range to do. That being said, this guy with his 82 hit... Was that 82? Yes, 82 hit versus Rennick's 33 avoid, plus another 15 from the triangle bonus, is 48. So he's going to have sub 50% chance to hit me. I think I can swing that. In fact, if I move onto the mountain, I'll have even more. Another 30 on top of that. Yeah, he's basically unhittable if I put him right here. So we'll put Rennick right there. Let him come to me. Rennick should not kill him. In fact, why don't I disarm him just to make sure that he doesn't, because I don't want to make that mistake on accident. Probably shouldn't have used Tethys to do it, but that's okay. We're gonna test out our new light magic bomb. We'll have Gillian go to town on this guy first. Definitely want to test out my new... Oh, I don't have light magic for her. Crud, I forgot about that. Never mind, I guess we're not testing her out. We'll have to wait and do that a little bit later. I'll probably use her to soften up Lyon, honestly, because she can take a hit from him no problem, and she can dish it out just as much. Although his resistance is quite competent, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, he's got 22 sitting on that gate, so maybe we won't be able to do that. She won't quite have the power behind it. Even with the Light Magic Tome, she reaches 21. So, nope, she's not going to hurt him. That's fine. We'll have to let somebody else do it. And I'm going to have Naomi come in here. She doesn't have a sword yet. She can get a sword. If I trade one from Gilliam here. And that's not going to be good enough, actually, I just realized. So we'll bail her out of there. We'll just have Franz do it. I'm starting to realize my guys don't quite have good enough equipment for what they're dealing with. We might need to start beefing them out with some better stuff. This is actually where the difficulty in the game ramps up a little bit. I mean, really, it was last chapter, but this one's where it starts diving up a little bit more. Even the generic, unpromoted enemies have very competent stats and are capable of taking repeated hits from you without any consequence. So let's ride in here. We're going to have Ephraim take out the middle guy. I want to make sure I stay out of Lyon's range because even though he's very slow, he hits like a truck, and I really don't want to have to take a brunt of an attack from him right now. Strength and luck, I like it. And we'll have Erica right here to dispatch this poor fellow. The fact that she brandishes her sword right in front of her before she swings it is also incredibly cool. Ephraim does not quite have the same dramatic flair affiliated with his animation that Erica does. Maybe that's why I like her so much better. The fact that she's pretty also helps, but hey, look at that. Defense and resistance and strength. That was a very good level up for her. And we're going to go ahead and park Tano way over here. Actually, I don't even need to do range attack. We need to do for melee right here with a killer lance. I'll use Slim. That's fine. I don't want to break the killer one unnecessarily on a druid that can't even hurt me. I mean, he would do damage, but he's incapable of hitting me, so effectively, nothing there. That's going to be a quick level up for her. The fact that we're mainly dealing with promoted enemies from here on out is actually a blessing because it just means a lot more experience for my newly promoted guys. So they'll get from level 1 promoted to pretty decent median very quickly, and that'll help for the late game. I mean, we're getting close to the end of the game actually already, if you can believe it. In fact, there's only about 5 or 6 more chapters after this, I think. Maximum. So we're not going to be taking a whole lot longer to finish this up. I'm actually going to go ahead and send Cormac back for that member card. No, not a member card. I don't have that yet. I didn't bring the silver card. I could grab that from Erica real quick. Why don't I do that? And I'm going to go ahead and deposit my steel lance, I guess, and grab the silver card. We're going to go shopping for that thing I told you we can only buy here. Actually, I could get it from Cormac and go with Cyrene, so let's do that. Okay, so Molder could do with some more moldering. That's a wedding? That is a word, but not the right context of the word. Yeah, I'm hoping it won't take too much longer to get him promoted. I'm going to be honest, if he doesn't end up being very good, we're probably just going to drop him. I know that sounds bad, because we've been using him since the beginning, but even though his con is amazing and he's very fast, he's just not quite measuring up to as well as I would like him to be. Oh, look at that, a 12% or 13% hit chance. No problemo. More wyverns. There sure are a lot of those. Alright, before I forget, let's go ahead and swipe this dragon shield from this guy. Mine. You know have. Level up for Rennick. Strength, alright, cool. I guess that's alright. We'll have Naomi slide in here and dish out some hurt on Mr. Berserker Man. With a crit, no less, because why not? When you have the option to crit and not crit, you always should crit. Everyone knows that. Alright, we're going to stick Franz on the forest here with his lance, and hopefully he can go to town on these guys. We're going to get Gilliam the heck out of dodge here. Well, I start getting some more free XP with Molder. In fact, do it again! Always could use more resistance on my Armor Knight. And we're going to start riding Miss La Rochelle back toward the main part of the battlefield so she can contend with whatever's happening over here. I guess I have loot on site as a healer if I need her. I don't know who else spawns, if anybody, down this way, but I'm not going to be too concerned about it. We're going to send Erica down to deal with these warriors, since she is uniquely qualified to do so. We actually probably should heal up Mr. Cormac here. I didn't realize how hurt he was. Also get some precious staff ranks for our resident sage now. I think she only has E with staves, which is unfortunately not great. I would like to have her... Oh, she has D. Okay, that's not bad. That's mend staves at any rate. Not that she needs them, but unfortunately for this advanced of a character to be useful as a healer, she would need to be able to use physics staves. Or at least recover, maybe. And that requires at least C or B. That would be ideal, but we've got La Rochelle for that. She's already A rank, so... Okay, we'll continue to send Cyrene down toward the shop there. I hope it's not actually in the armory. I didn't think of that. If it is, we can just send her back up that way, I guess, but... It'd be a massive pain in the butt if it's actually the other thing that's not the right place. And here comes people to mess with Franz, but he's ready. With his steel lancy goodness. I do love that the war horse that he's riding has these massive horns. I don't think horses are supposed to have horns, but I'm not exactly an expert. Maybe he's riding a cow. That's what it is. He's riding a bull. He's not actually riding a horse, he's riding a freaking bull. I mean, listen, that sounds awesome, and I'm totally okay with it. Headcanon accepted. Alright, so now we get full-blown paladins and great knights over here as reinforcements, rather than just unpromoted cavaliers. In fact, we could probably buy a light magic tome for La Rochelle while we're down here. I would be very okay with that. In fact, you know what? Yeah, why don't we do that? Why don't we let La Rochelle go shopping? Well, I don't know, hang on. How far did she move? 8, right? Yeah. We'll put La Rochelle right here, since she can't quite get there anyway. Alright, Erica's gonna go deal with some warriors. And not having a particularly difficult time of it, anyway. There's a lot more reinforcements on this map than I remember. But you know what? That's okay. Just means more experience for me. It's not like anybody's particularly in any danger or anything. Is wyverns? Oh, their wyverns are gone. Okay. Why don't we send Gilliam back, because we're going to need him. Probably for the Great Knight. Great Knight has an axe. Wow, I actually can't quite finish him off. Can Franz do it? No, he cannot. We'll try. I'll tell you what, the enemy Great Knights look a lot cooler than mine. Look how awesome that armor is. Of course, that guy's got an axe, too, which just looks amazing. So menacing looking. Hey, strength, speed, and defense. Wonderful. That's what I like to see. And we'll stick Gilliam on the paladin instead. That he can't double. Wow. This is starting to look a little more... Well, I guess these guys have silver weapons. They're not even leaving dents in my people, but... It's still nice to have worthy adversaries, rather than ones that I'm just mowing through needlessly. I know that sounds weird to say, but... These guys are fairly decent for generic enemies, I guess. We're going to go ahead and barrier up Franz because he has a measly 3 resistance. And Lord knows he could use it. We don't really have anything to do with Rennick any longer, so... I suppose he can just kind of sit there and be quiet. I don't think anybody that we're going to encounter as reinforcements is going to have anything to steal. That's generally not a thing. Let me double check just to make sure. Nope. Okay, we're good. So we're going to let Rennick just chill out here by the river. Maybe he can just have a bath or something. Who knows? Alright. So plenty of reinforcements. I don't know for how much longer we get reinforcements. I don't think it's too much longer. This episode might run a little longer than normal, but that's okay. I'm just waiting for all the guys to clear out, and we can probably scrap Lyon in a single round, if I'm being totally honest. With the powerhouses that I have amassed up there, it should not be terribly difficult. And even Erica probably could land a decisive killing blow on him with a silver sword. That'd be kind of interesting way to put it. Unfortunately, Lyon apparently had a thing for Erica, so the fact that I'm pretty sure if she's the one to kill him, that'd be a little unusual, but also cathartic at the same time, if that makes any sense. Oh wow, Silver Axe actually puts a decent dent in Gilliam. Not enough of a one, but he still laughs at that guy. But, I mean, listen, 10 damage is more than 2. You heard it here first, folks. 10 is more than 2. And here we go, sword versus sword. And again, I'm not quite strong enough to... Oh, I can double him, that's fine. There you go. Great Knight to the rescue. I do like how Paladins look, though. As I mentioned earlier, if Franz hadn't turned out very well, I was totally going to use Seth, because Seth is a miracle in this game. Absolutely bonkers. Alright, we'll park Franz up here again with the lance, and we'll put Gilliam aside for the time being. Get him nice and healed up and squared away. Might be able to get Boulder to promotion tier this chapter. It's not terribly likely, but it's possible. I'll just barrier up somebody else for now. I mean, he's about halfway through 18. It's possible. Alright, so let's Cyrene go shopping. Let's see if that thing I'm looking for is here. Oh yeah, it will be. So the thing I'm talking about is the Nosferatu tome. So I don't know if anybody's or if I explained this adequately, but Nosferatu tome is really interesting. It weighs a lot. It doesn't have a lot of benefits going for it, but what it does do is when you hit with it, you drain any damage you deal and heal that much. And it's amazing for like self-sustaining dark mages. That being said, we don't have anybody that can use it right now, but that will change maybe post-game when I have some time to do some training. So this is the only point in the game where you can buy it from a shop. It can happen as random loot later on in the post-game, but if you want to have some of them for later, this is where you got to do it. So, just in case I need some later, I'm going to go ahead and buy a couple right now. And they're just going to go straight to the convoy. I'm also going to buy a Shine Tome for La Rochelle while we're here. So yeah, we'll just keep a couple. I don't need more than that. And speaking of, we're going to go ahead and get that Shine Tome over to La Rochelle so she can go to town on those guys up here. Assuming there are any more of them. I don't actually know for a fact that there is, but just in case. There's definitely more of these warriors around, it looks like, so... Erica just continuing to maul her way through all of them. Probably best if we let Ephraim get the kill on Lyon, honestly. Since Erica's farming all the XP she needs down here. And as soon as Lyon drops, the level's over, so as soon as the enemy stop spawning in the corners here, then we can move in and take him down. This is gonna break her iron sword, but that's no big deal. Those are dirt cheap, so we're not too worried about that. In fact, I kind of want her to break this other rapier too, so I can stop using both of them around. She really only needs to have the one. It's kind of strange that they give you 2 rapiers, but they only give you 1 Regan life. I never understood that. Even if you go through Ephraim's route, you only get 1 Regan life spear, which sucks because that thing's amazing. More defense, okay. Where was all these good level ups when she was, you know, unpromoted? Those would have been fantastic. I wouldn't have had to waste so many freaking upgrade items on her. I believe I gave her 2 energy rings. Like, come on, really? I think I still have 1 left, but I don't remember who I don't know who I'm gonna give that to. I'll probably have to figure that out very shortly, since I'm gonna have all my guys promoted, and that's when you want to start making decisions on who to give stuff to. There's no more big power boosts. Aside from just normal growths. Still more guys. Well, we get to show off Miss Valkyrie lady. And what better target than a greatly armored magic, or, you know, heavily armored warhorse dude. And I didn't turn her freaking animations on. So, this is what's called Murphy's Law, ladies and gentlemen. We're gonna go ahead and find La Rochelle. There she is. So, let's get a do-over here. I don't know if she's actually going to be able to kill this paladin in 1 round. We'll find out. Nope, not quite. Unless she crits. That'd be cool. And there's the crit. Alright, never mind. Bye, Mr. Paladin. I love me some Valkyrie. Have I mentioned that? Especially because it's La Rochelle and she's amazing. Alright, and I think... we'll see who else shows up. I'm not entirely certain yet, so... We'll barrier up Mr. Rennick here. Erica's got yet more warriors to deal with. Why doesn't she just go full rapier mode on these guys? Oh, and she crit. Perfect. Those are the last 2 uses are going to be used to kill that other one. Wonderful. I am totally okay with that. I didn't even plan that. It just happened to work out that way. Alright, so we still have the silver card and Siren. We might as well send her up to the armory and see if there's anything worth buying up there. I don't think so, but I'll double check anyway. Alright, you silly guys. Just keep coming out of these forts and I have to keep killing you with the sword and... I mean, you'd think they would learn by now. And there's that rapier finally gone. Well, that's another item slot for her for later. Still more warriors. You have got to be kidding me. Now it's starting to get a little weird, you guys. We'll just go rapier still. I can always hammer in this thing later if I want to keep using it. There's a crit. That puts her at 24. And killing that last one's going to put her to, what, level 5, I think? Like, yeah, come on, give me a break. That being said, I think that might have been the last of them, but since I don't know that for certain, we'll just keep feeding some barrier uses to Mr. Molder here. And he should be cracking level 19 by the end of this chapter, no problem. In fact, one more heal or use of that barrier staff will do just that. Alright, see how much more reinforcements we got to deal with. Lots and lots of warriors, man. I tell you what, I think they would send something more like berserkers or whatever. Or heroes. Send more heroes. Those guys are fun to fight. Level 5. More defense, more... Wow, holy smoke. She's getting to be a little bit on the tanky side. And I'm not opposed to this at all. Alright, we're in... what's our status here? We're in turn 14. I think that's going to be the last of the reinforcements. Finally. So... let's go ahead and have Molder Barrier up for the last time this chapter. Is there anybody he needs to heal, by the way? I didn't bother to check that. Oh. Okay, well, you can't have everything you want. Does he need to heal anybody? Yeah, he can heal Rennick for 1 hit point. And we can use the last 2 barrier staff uses just in case we can't one-round Lyon, although I don't think that's likely that we can't one-round him. Okay, that's not as much damage as I wanted. I'm going to go with the more reliable 100% hit and greater ability to potentially get the heck out of dodge, so let's go with that. Hello, Mr. Demon King Lyon. How does that make us inconsistent? I don't know. So he's got a Fenrir Tome. By the way, Lyon's animation, absolutely awesome. And that hit me. I was hoping it would not, but can't have everything you want, as we've already learned. So we put a decent chunk of damage on him. Let's see if Ephraim can finish mopping him up. Not quite. Almost, but not quite. Maybe we can have Tana fly in and pierce him. That would be neat, wouldn't it? Oh man, we're going to have to go kill her, I think, here. Okay, so she won't die either. She's got a very high chance of killing him outright. That's cool, we'll let it happen. Alright, if she pierces, he's dead. If she crits, he's not. We'll see how that goes. Nope, that's just another regular hit. Okay, well, I guess I'll take that too. We're going to use Cormag to get her out of dodge, and we're going to finish him off with Ephraim, as is tradition. Any more warriors, by the way? Nope, there's not. Okay. So Ephraim will deliver the killing blow with his mighty lance. We'll use the Regan Life just to ensure the hit, because 99 is not going to miss. And if it does, I'll be incredibly salty. Oh, Ephraim is not happy. Huh. Alright, well, kill him. This is gonna hurt. This whole Fenrir nonsense. This isn't even his final form, by the way. Ow. Alright, so that'll do that. Heh, that's all he says. That's going to be a level for Ephraim. More strength, skill, speed, luck, wow, almost a perfect level up for Ephraim. He's going to cap darn near everything, by the way. Including resistance, I'm pretty sure. I made another free Nosferatu tome. That's alright, we don't need that. Uh-oh. That doesn't sound good. Well, how are we going to track him? He just teleported away. It's not exactly as easy as you make it sound. Uh-oh, here comes Innes. He's very confident of himself. Not himself, but his trackers, I should say. Uh-oh. Yes, here we go. Behold! Nidhogg, the Serpent Bow, and Vidofnir, the Winged Lance. These are both awesome, by the way. So Nidhogg was supposed to be for Innes, and Vidofnir presumably is for Tana. Which is convenient, because that's exactly who it's going to. I might give it to Gilliam, actually, too. We'll see. But yeah, so we get Nidhogg, which is awesome. And Vidofnir, which is even cooler. Have I mentioned how much I enjoy that you get the legendary weapons before the last chapter? It's so nice. And of course we get this little exit thing with Cyrene because all the civilians were fine. They didn't really require a whole lot of effort to guard, they were just kind of there. And as long as you just bottleneck the enemy, they don't tend to have a chance to get near them, so... Ooh, we get a staff as a small token, that's cool. A rescue staff, how appropriate. That's gonna go to the convoy. Those are nice, actually. At any rate, so we got more Sacred Twins. I think we're only missing Rausten's, right? Yeah, because we got Johanna's, we got Grado's, we got Frelia's just now, and we already had Renee's. So that just leaves Rausten's twins, and then we're all set. And that's also where we're headed, so convenient. At any rate, we will resume our journey toward Rausten in the next episode. So until then, thank you very much for watching. I really do appreciate it. This has been Seraphin. Stay classy, internets.